You're staring at a screen, a blank page. A project you were genuinely excited about just last week. You know exactly what you need to do next. The plan is there. The goal is clear. But your body and mind have entered a state of total, unyielding paralysis. The engine is cold, and you have zero drive to even turn the key. This isn't laziness. This is a full system shutdown. It's that feeling where the energy it would take to start to take even the smallest possible step feels like more than you could possibly generate right now. Let's be very clear. This feeling isn't some minor inconvenience. It is the silent killer of dreams. It's the friction that grinds all your potential to a dead halt. Every hour you let yourself stay in this state of inertia is an hour of your life, your ambition, and your future that you're just throwing away. You tell yourself you're just putting it off until tomorrow, but what's actually happening is your brain is building and reinforcing the neural pathways of avoidance. Every single time you choose the comfort of doing nothing, you are actively programming yourself to fail. You make it easier to quit next time and harder to start. This isn't just a feeling. It's a dangerous feedback loop. And today we're going to break it. The single biggest lie we're told about drive is that it's a requirement for action. We're taught to wait for some lightning bolt of inspiration to strike. We think we have to feel motivated before we can act motivated. This is completely backward. It's a fallacy that keeps you passive, waiting for some magical force that is probably never going to show up. Motivation is not the cause of action. It's the effect. Action generates motivation far more than motivation will ever generate action. Momentum is a property of a moving object, not one that's standing still. Your brain's reward system, that dopamine hit that makes you feel good, isn't triggered by thinking about the work. It's triggered by doing the work, even a tiny piece of it. Waiting for motivation is like standing in front of a cold fireplace and demanding it give you heat before you put any wood in. It's an illogical and losing strategy. The psychological switch we have to flip is this. Stop trying to find motivation. Start creating it. And you create it with one thing: action. This isn't about rah-rah speeches or just thinking positive thoughts. We're going to treat this as an engineering problem. The problem is inertia. The solution is a logical, systematic process for generating forward momentum from a dead stop. Your brain is shutting down because it sees the whole task as overwhelming. It sees the entire mountain, it panics, and it decides that not moving at all is the safest bet. So our first step is to stop looking at the mountain. We need to find the smallest possible pebble we can kick. I call this the minimum viable action, or MVA. The MVA isn't the task. It's a radically, almost laughably smaller version of the task. It's an action so small that it's physically and mentally impossible to say no to. Is your goal to write a report? Your MVA is to open a new document and type one sentence. Is your goal to clean the house? Your MVA is to take one single dish and put it in the dishwasher. Goal is to go to the gym? Your MVA is just to put on your gym shoes. The action should take less than 2 minutes. This isn't about making progress on the goal itself. It's about breaking the state of inertia. That is the only objective here. The act of starting, no matter how small, is what starts to build momentum. The space around you is either a launch pad or a swamp. It's either reducing friction or creating it. Getting going when you have zero drive means you have to make starting that MVA the path of least resistance. If your MVA is to write one sentence, don't have 15 other tabs open. Close them, all of them, create a clean space. If your MVA is to put on your gym shoes, have them right by the door, not buried in the back of a closet. This isn't just about being tidy. It's about strategically designing your environment to nudge you toward action. Remove the physical and digital clutter. That gives your brain an easy escape route. Your brain is actively looking for that easier, more pleasurable distraction. Don't give it one. This step is critical. You have to execute the minimum viable action. Not later. Now. The moment you define it, you do it. Don't think about what comes after. Don't think about the whole project. Just do that one tiny thing. And as soon as you've done it, you have to log it. This isn't for show. It's about collecting data. Open a notebook or a text file and write down what you did. 10:05 a.m. Put one dish in the dishwasher. Or 2:30 p.m. Wrote one sentence. Why? Because your brain needs proof of a win. When you check something off a list, you get a small dopamine reward that reinforces the behavior. This log becomes a running record of your ability to get things done. It's tangible proof that you are not, in fact, stuck. You are a person who executes. You have the data to prove it. This starts a positive feedback loop that makes the next action just a little bit easier. Once you execute one MVA, the state of total inertia is broken. You are now an object in motion. The hardest part is over. From here, you don't need to find some huge reserve of motivation. You just ask yourself one simple question. What is the next minimum viable action? You don't go from I wrote one sentence to now I have to write 10 pages. You go to, okay, now I will write the next sentence. Or, now I will find one statistic to back that up. You build on the momentum you've just created with another small manageable win. This is how you build a chain reaction of small, non-intimidating victories. You can use tools like the Pomodoro technique working in focused 25-minute sprints to keep this going. The key is to keep the steps small and the wins coming. You're essentially hacking your brain into doing hard work by framing it as a series of easy steps. Relying on small wins is a great short-term strategy. But for sustained, long-term drive, you have to connect these tiny actions to a larger purpose. You have to know why you're doing this in the first place. What is the mission? Your why is the ultimate power source. Is this project going to lead to a promotion? Will learning this skill give you more freedom? Is finishing this thing going to make you proud of yourself? You need to regularly visualize the outcome. When the grind of the small step starts to feel pointless, you have to zoom out and look at the mission, write it down. Put it somewhere you can see it. Reconnecting with your core purpose is a strategic move. It's a reminder that these small, sometimes annoying actions are the building blocks for a future you decided was critically important. This framework isn't theoretical. It's a weapon against inertia you can use immediately. So, right now, I want you to do two things. First, in the comments below, write down the one minimum viable action you are going to take the second this is over. Define it, commit to it publicly. It's amazing how much sharing your goal increases the probability of success. Second, If you're done waiting for motivation and you're ready to start building systems for success, subscribe to this channel. We don't do platitudes here. We do strategies that actually work. That feeling of having zero drive feels like a prison. But the door isn't locked. You've just been tricked into thinking you don't have the key. The key isn't a feeling. It's a small, physical action. Motivation is not something you find. It's an output you generate. It's the result of a process. By defining a minimum viable action, engineering your environment, logging your wins, creating a momentum loop, and connecting to your mission, you can build a motivation factory on demand. You can generate drive whenever you need it, even on your worst days. Stop waiting to feel like it. Remember, action comes first. Go take that first tiny step. The rest will follow.